I'm Aizaz Nayyer. I'm the CEO of Linkstar. We're based in Karachi, Pakistan, but we're also registered in Singapore and Dubai. I actually have a background in marketing. I'm a digital marketer as well. Marketing, sales, and that's my personal background. I used to previously work at Daraz, which is owned by Alibaba in Pakistan. So that's where I kind of got my first taste of working with different marketing agencies, and previously also I had freelance during my university days. So everything that I'm doing today with Linkstar has come out of my own experiences throughout my life. That's a great question, and well, to be honest, I think once you take a decision, you've taken it now, so you have to kind of make the most of it. So that's always been my approach. I don't really look back and have regrets or anything like that. The story actually goes that I was at Daraz, and I had actually gone there into digital marketing, which I didn't know at that time. I had come from a background in I set up this division to sell paper bags at my previous company, and we kind of we took the sales almost 1000x and stuff. It was great, but I came into this new world to set up a new department related to digital marketing and kind of selling Facebook and Google solutions to a lot of brands. And so I learned all of that, and that was my first introduction with multiple agencies where I saw some inefficiencies, and I had freelanced personally myself as well before. So I kind of I saw that sometimes when the agencies would say that we had a campaign to go live, but there was only one graphic designer that they had, and there were delays coming. I would be just you can just get a freelancer maybe to plug the gap. So that's where we kind of founded our first startup, which was a freelance marketplace called Savvy. So myself and my co-founder Adil, so we're childhood friends. We go back like 15 years, and our third co-founder Ali, he joined us as well. He's also a friend from 10 years ago. So it was all just a group of friends getting together and starting off. And when I actually quit my job, first I was doing it part-time, then I kind of quit my job and decided to go in full-time. And to be very honest, the only reason I was able to do that because I'd just been recently married. So my wife was working, and she completely supported me in my decision. My own family, my in-laws, everyone was very on board because it was the right time to get into it. But without their support, I would not have been able to do it, right? So I do, of course, really appreciate that. And even despite the fact where in the first year where we had Savvy, we were making money, Adil and I would always choose to reinvest it back into the business rather than drawing a salary at that point. So every month, whenever we would make money, we would be like, we can maybe hire someone better, we can market more or whatever, right? So during that time, my wife actually worked very hard. She got a double promotion. Without her help, it would have been, it was, looking back, it could have been a tough time, but I never felt that way, thanks to her support. I kind of put my thinking hat on and started thinking, okay, what are the problems we have faced? What are the insights that we have gathered? Okay, fine, we've seen that the majority of freelance work is actually happening outside of freelance marketplaces, right? So it's actually happening via social media, referrals, personal networks. How can we kind of facilitate these people to sell directly to their customers, right? So that's where we kind of came up with the concept of Linkstar as an instant landing page, where the freelancers and influencers could kind of set up their own shop and sell directly, right? Put it in your Instagram link in bio or your website on LinkedIn and so on. And that's where it started off. And then, we kind of always thought that the top people from this group, we're going to help them get business as well, right? So kind of like a Shopify for freelancers, but we also help you get business. That was the concept where we started off with. Ultimately, we ended up solving our own problem because we were looking for agencies to market Linkstar. And it was a very tough process to find one. Lots of proposals coming in, lots of calls happening, people saying we'll pitch, it'll take a week to pitch, and so on, right? And finally, after a month, we were able to lock an agency, but within the month, we realized that it's not going to work out. We had to go and find another one, hired and fired another one. Ultimately, we just saw that, in the Linkstar talent pool, we had some very good people working at top agencies that we were priced out of. We couldn't afford them at the time. So we just ended up getting those people on board. That solved our problem. We went and we saw in the market that there are other companies as well. We did a survey who had similar problems, right? So more than 80% of the companies that we interviewed said that, yeah, we faced issues with agencies before. So that's where we're like, okay, fine. So maybe with the talent that we have on Linkstar, the top talent, we can specialize in marketing, right? You can hire someone with experience at a top agency. If you can't hire the agency, it's okay. You can still hire that person, right? So that's how we kind of got into it. The global conditions helped actually, because in the current economic climate, more businesses were looking to optimize costs, and more professionals, with inflation coming in, more professionals were looking to freelance. So it was kind of like that mix of things coming together, which has helped us in our journey so far. That's a great question. And I think anyone who says no is probably lying. Internally, those things do come up. But I think once you've got into, look, I always tell people, getting into the startup life is not a rational decision, right? It's something where you have to be a little bit crazy to get into this life. It's not the most rational thing to leave a job where you're making money and go into something where you're not making money for a while and all of that. It takes a lot of risk-taking appetite as well. I guess if you have that appetite, and I do, I've never been afraid of taking risks, and I think it's very important to back yourself. I think in this kind of startup life, you have to be your own biggest fan and your own biggest critic. So that's what's kept me going as well. You have to give yourself those motivational speeches that you give to all of your employees as well, right? Yeah, and of course, look, results speak for themselves. So you can keep on telling yourself things are going well, but when things are actually going well, when you're actually putting in the work, seeing the results, so you have to focus on the small wins as well, and realize that not get too down by the failures. You just have to learn from them and adapt quickly. That's actually a great question, and that's something that we get asked quite often, because oftentimes it's said, don't start a business with friends. And I would tend to agree with that, because I can only count on one hand probably the number of friends that I could actually start a business with, right? And thankfully, luckily, my two co-founders are amongst the people that I could actually do that with. So I'll just give you a small example. While we're in the car right now, Adil had just put on some music, and we were both just vibing to it and getting into the zone to come here and get up on stage and do what we need to do, right? So just having those kind of similar interests gives you a foundation to build up from. And the most important thing I feel is respect. So having that sort of respect for the other person's capabilities, because you have to recognize that you can do some things better than the other person, and the other person can do things better than you. And that's what makes a great team and a great partnership, right? That's extremely important, having that mutual respect for each other's abilities, right? And of course, being honest. So having that ability to be honest, and also if you can give feedback, you also have to be able to take it. So in some cases, for example, if you feel like the other person has not done a good job, you tell them, and you expect them to tell you as well when that time is there. So there can be no ego involved in this stage. I feel like that's the biggest factor. If there is ego involved, then you might tend to take things personally in some sense, but the truth is that you're looking at the bigger picture, you're looking at the interests of the company, not your own interests. And I think that's what we've always, for example, been on the same page with regards to not drawing a salary, for example, for a year, or even when we had the ability, we would always prefer to reinvest it. Having those similar aligned goals was always very important. So having a similar vision, having mutual respect, and having the ability to say no to the ego and say yes to growth. All right, so that's actually a very interesting story. My co-founder Ali had actually been messaging William for a while. So he had been messaging him since November of last year, and he just never been able to get a reply back. I think in April or March of 2022, he saw that William was online, and he had just replied. So he just immediately came to me, gave me the phone. He's like, William's online, give him a quick pitch, right? So he just gave it to me. I was on something else. I just quickly shifted my attention to that, and I quickly wrote something, and thankfully it made sense to William. So we set up a call. I think the call was set up for like 2 a.m. Our local time, and we took it, and it went great. And afterwards, we were just thinking, is this it? Is it done? And then we had a few follow-up calls with William, and it was a very smooth onboarding process. And with SOSV and now Orbit, the most amazing thing was that from day one, their value proposition was, we have all of these companies in our portfolio, and we want these companies to share services amongst each other, right? And get new business for zero CAC. So that was something which is amazing for us, because of course we had, freelancers and influencers, and of course, once you have them on board, you also want to have, SMEs and businesses and startups that are looking for their services. So having that kind of pool ready-made, and of course, we didn't just want to stay in Pakistan, and with SOSP's cross-border program, it was great that we could kind of move into a new market without having to go and set up any logistics, but get clients there from day one. So that really appealed to us. The team themselves have been extremely helpful. We've learned so much during that process, and SOSP has been able to give us that platform, Orbit especially, to take that belief and solidify it and take it further. So now what I'm looking for, obviously we are looking for strategic partners as well. I feel like the money can come from multiple sources. It's always better though if the partners believe in what you're doing, if they believe in the problem you're solving, right? That always helps.